You guys are gonna love this episode because you're gonna find out what to do if your property contains diamonds inside the dirt. You're also gonna learn if you're ready to buy a Lamborghini or not, and you can also learn how to build revenue that sticks around even if you're disabled or not here in the future to provide that security for your family. Cassidy, thank you so much for coming into the podcast. Yeah. Could you give everybody an overview of your business, what kind of transactions you do, volume, where it's at? Love to start there.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, east side of Tennessee. We do flips, we do wholesales, we got some rental properties, we do hotels. We're primarily flips. So we'll probably do 25, 30 flips a year, probably 5 or 10 hotel deals, about the same in wholesale deals. And then we've got a small portfolio of rental property. We manage all them as well, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Congratulations. Yeah. 50 total deals a year, it sounds like.
Roughly.
That's no small feat.
Yeah.
How'd you get started doing that? What was your first deal?
Oh my goodness. So I started in 2013 was whenever I started my company, and we didn't get a deal for almost a year. Just beat my head against the wall.
Oh yeah.
And so finally got my first one right when I graduated college. I was going to engineering school. And so got my first deal, made it through it somehow, ran out of money, that whole thing, on the first flip. But once I made it through that, I was like, okay, I just created whatever it was at the time, $60,000, $70,000 of equity with probably the most miserable 2 months of my life up to that point.
Well, you're saying this first deal, you ran out of money?
Yeah. So it was
flipping it?
Yeah, it was a flip.
But you did create equity at the same time?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what happened? What do you mean you ran out of money? Like you couldn't finish the renovation?
Well, it was just, I was expecting it to cost right around, I think, 25 or something like that. And I had that cash available. At the time it was my girlfriend and I, who's now my wife, Victoria.
Shout out Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria. But she had a job, and so she had to use her income to get a 203K loan.
Got it.
Which those are relatively difficult.
That lets you buy the actual deal and gives you money for the rehab, right?
Right, yeah. And so this was a house that we were moving into. So this was a full flip. We're going to live in it a couple years and sell it. And so she got the loan, she had the income, and I had to get a contractor's license because I didn't trust anybody to do it. I had no idea what I was doing. But got it, funded the rehab, barely made it out of there with the money for the rehab. But it was overall a great experience. I mean, because I learned a ton. I was able to complete it, accomplish what I was wanting to accomplish. And yeah, so that was the first deal. Went to work as an engineer shortly thereafter, and was doing a lot of wholesaling at that point. So I had kind of met up with a guy who had been in the business for a long time. He was an REO agent. There were still quite a few foreclosures at the time. Mm-hmm. And so he was also buying them and flipping them and stuff like that. And so I had told him, I was like, look, I got a website, it's generating leads. I don't have much money, kind of low on cash, He's like, well, how much money is it? It's like, well, I mean, I could probably do something with $500, $1,000, and he's like, okay, I'll give you $500,000 just to get some leads going.
Okay.
And so we kind of started, doing SEO on the website. We were putting out bandit signs at that time, so this is 2014. Mm-hmm. Doing some advertising on Facebook and stuff like that. And the first deal we did first year, did probably 10, 15, or first portion of a year, did like 10 or 15 deals. And then the first calendar year, I think we did high 20s and then 40 something. And
so you went for one whole year scratching your head. You didn't get a deal.
Didn't.
And then the first deal was the 203K loan.
That was where we lived.
How did you find that? Was it listed?
That was a HUD. Do you remember HUDs?
Yeah, I remember HUDs.
Yeah, so we used to buy a lot of HUD foreclosures, and we had a whole little process on doing that. But it was a HUD foreclosure. The first one was, and then most of the other ones we bought a lot of HUDs too over the next probably 5 years. But most of the deals come from just Facebook advertising, Craigslist advertising, and most of them come from bandit signs.
What's your Facebook advertising look like? What would an ad look like?
At that time, it wasn't necessarily ads. There were these groups on Facebook that would have 40, 50,000 members. And at the time, they weren't monitored as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just copy and paste, a brief statement. I'm looking to buy a fixer-upper house in this zip code.
Like
cash.
yard sale groups?
Yeah, yard sale
There you
groups.
go. Yeah. I've heard of that before.
Other types of groups like that. And so that wasn't as much of a thing then. It's everywhere. People are doing it everywhere now.
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting a lot from that. Most of them, though, come from the bandit signs at that time. And, yeah, so a couple years in, it was 43, I think, deals, and we hovered right around that area.
How'd you do 15 in your first year, though? I mean, you got your contractor's license. What do you even have to do to get a contractor's license?
So that was a home improvement contractor's license, which is the absolute...
Because you owned it, so it's like minimum...
Well, yeah, and you don't have to own it to get that license, but it's the absolute minimum license that you can use to pull permits for renovations.
Yep.
I think it's $500, insurance, a bond, and an application to the state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very minimum. Shout out Victoria on that one as well. She did whatever it was that needed to be done to get my contractor's license.
Got it. She did the work.
Yeah, she did most of that. So, but yeah, it was. That's what we were doing.
So how did you then do 15 in 1 year though? Because a flip takes like months, typically, right?
Yeah. So I think the flip took me about 2 months to pull off, and then we moved in, and we had been putting out bandit signs for a while. So there was that kind of log of people that we had been talking to and discussing properties with, and this is me and the realtor that I was working with at the time.
Yep.
And eventually, when we started getting deals, it was very simple. And this was also about the time that, I had mentioned to him that I was able to generate leads. I just didn't have the money to. And so that's when he kind of gave me some money. We bought some bandit signs, started doing some SEO and stuff like that. So,
right. But were these 15 flips, or were you doing some wholesale?
No, none of the first one was a flip, and that was it.
Oh, okay. So the rest were wholesale.
Buy and relist.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
And you actually relisted them. You didn't even sell them to a private list of buyers or something like that?
Well, no. Now, we didn't assign them, I guess is what I'm saying. So we would generally double close.
Yeah.
Or we would just buy it and sell it off market like a few days later. That was mostly what we did.
Yeah. How'd you find, so for your first deal that you sold off market like that, how did you find the buyers to buy that?
That is a good question. I remember the buyers. I had him in my phone, so that would have just been a call. That would have been a short list guy.
Who was it? What's a short list guy?
A short list guy are the people who are very helpful early on in wholesaling, but can also hold you back a little later.
What does that mean? Is this like a guy you met at a meetup or something? Or?
I don't remember how I met him, but he was a contractor and he was also a flipper, and he had another guy he worked with who was the money guy.
Yep.
And so these are the guys that are actively buying deals. And they're very easy to sell to. Like, hey, I just got a deal on 123 Main Street. Go check it out. He responds back, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Super easy.
He's a short list guy because you're the one with a short list.
You got 5 of those guys.
Yeah.
And they buy them all, right?
Yeah.
And then the reason I say that they can kind of be difficult because it's so easy to do that I got stuck. I noticed after a while wholesaling for probably 5 years, which is what I did probably for the next 5 years exclusively. And when I say wholesaling, I mean buying resale.
Double close, yeah.
Double close. But you can be leaving a lot of money on the table and not know it. If you're not marketing those properties to a wide group of buyers, and you don't even realize that you're leaving 20, 30. I noticed once my guys started buying them from me, and then they would just sell them to somebody else.
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And they would just make another
Really?
20 or 30 grand. I was like, what's going on here? You know, so at that time, we just started relisting them all on the MLS.
Got it.
And I was also
Were
working.
you an agent too?
My partner was at the time.
That was the REO agent
Yeah,
guy.
the
So that
REO.
just means he worked for a bank. He was helping them list their properties.
Right. So he was an agent for a bank.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
Yeah. And or for a number of banks. He listed foreclosures in addition to other properties.
Yeah.
And so I was also working as an engineer at this time. I had finally, graduated college with the first deal.
What kind of engineering did you get?
Mechanical.
Oh, cool. I did electrical.
Okay, I think I had talked to you about that before. Yeah, at one point. Yeah, but so, in my hometown, I got a job at the best place to get a job.
Where's that?
It's in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So there's a lot of plants and stuff. A lot of people work there. They hire a huge number of people.
Yep.
So got a job. I was like, okay, I've made it, and I was absolutely miserable. I mean, it was like everything that I did in that job were things I was not great at. I was never super punctual. You really needed to be punctual. I was never super, I guess, like politically active in the office environment. I think that was very important in that. So I was like, I'm sitting here, I think it was February of 2016, and I was like, okay, I made more money this month wholesaling than I will all year as an engineer, and I'm not even that great at this aspect of engineering. What am I doing? And so I had a friend that was good friends with our supervisor. He was like, yeah, they're about to get a bunch of layoffs. And I was like, bro, help me out, let them know I'm good. Like if we get
They can lay you off.
Yeah,
is what you're
I'm
trying to
good,
say.
right. And I didn't feel right quitting.
Yeah.
But it made it to where it was supposed to go. I got a layoff slip.
Oh, awesome.
I was happy as can be. And from that point on, me and the guy that I had been working with, we split up shortly thereafter. And it was, off to the races.
Why did you split up?
It was just, we were butting heads, really. That's about all it boils
Pretty
down to.
frequent with partnerships. You want different things over time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some culpability on my end too. I don't think that I was still learning how to interact with people and partner with people, and so it was just time. It was time to split up. So, but that was a whole nother thing. Like I had not done this on my own yet. So now I'm not only doing it full time, I'm also doing it just me. I didn't have his experience. He'd been doing it 30, 40 years. I didn't have experience to rely on. And so I was kind of, I was out there now doing it myself. And, things just got better from there. Started doing a little bit of trying different types of marketing, a little bit of cold calling and other things, and got a lot of traction with those, and started to build my rental portfolio around 2019, which is also when I joined the Collective Genius. And that was a game changer too. I mean, because I think about it in hindsight, and I remember whenever I joined or went to my first Collective Genius meeting, I had been looking at Lamborghinis online, like just watching them,
Yeah, as you do.
Right. Yeah.
I remember there was a month where I was nearing my goal and I kept looking at Ferraris online, and I had to eventually just get one.
Right.
Because then I could just get my time back from looking up Ferraris.
So
is that kind of what you're talking about?
It's a little different.
Okay.
I was in no position to really buy a Lamborghini, but I had the money to. So I could have bought it.
What do you mean by have the money but not in the position?
It wouldn't have been a good purchase. I still had more to do. So I think it was just a matter of finding clarity in my vision once I came and seen other people, what they were doing, and noticed maybe some of my shortfalls, some of my weaknesses. And I'm thinking, I'm out here killing it. I'm wholesaling. I'm doing this many deals. I've got a good margin, virtually no overhead at all. And so I'm obviously rich, right? But then, it was kind of apparent to me that if something happened to me, like even a car accident or something, the money stops, right? The money stops. So that's what you got right there. So, and that was a big eye opener because I was like, okay, now I've got to do something that's going to provide some type of cash flow, right? Because that's important too. That's a whole nother aspect, a whole nother avenue that needs to be addressed. And so that's when I started buying the rental properties, and ended up getting 54, I think is what I've got now. And that was, since the end of 2019. And so
Congratulations. Yeah, about 10 a year.
Yeah. And so it's less here more recently. Most of them were acquired to say 20, I think mid 21. But yeah, it is. I mean, it was a game changer for me. Those provide a lot of, I didn't do a whole lot of refis on those. I bought them for the monthly income.
Yeah. So
I kind of just used flip profits to buy those, a lot of them. Only refinanced when I needed to. And so that was a huge help. And
how does that feel now? I mean, that's a nice, secure feeling.
It is. It's freedom in that if I wanted to stop or go do something for a while, like a pretty good while, I could. You know?
What's on your list of things you'd want to do like that?
Well, there's a lot. We, me and Victoria went to Bora Bora. We stayed for a few weeks. We didn't have kids. We got kids now. But that sounds great. It may be even for a month or something. We've been to Greece. We've talked about going to Thailand or somewhere in Southeast Asia. So that would be a good example of something that I could do really if I wanted to.
For sure.
Just grab the kids and take them too.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
So could your wholesaling operation at the scale it's at now, does it have people that work there besides yourself?
Well, so whenever my partner and I split up, I was always more interested in rehabbing, unfortunately. So I kind of pivoted to do more of that. So that's primarily what we're doing now.
Okay.
And it's still...
you just look for your own deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pretty much just find my own deals. And we buy from wholesalers too, on occasion. We also do a very small amount of like SEO marketing. I've outsourced that now. And do other forms of marketing occasionally as well. But so we've got a small crew of 2 construction foremen. And they've got guys under them. They kind of handle the projects, and they know what they're doing. Most of the time, they have the address. It's already in the app, and they go to it, and they know what's going on. It's a rental, so they already know what goes in the rentals.
Yeah.
They know that the
same type of materials, right, in all the projects.
Yeah, they don't get the rentals. They don't get, most of them don't get a dishwasher, not unless it's in certain zip codes and stuff like that. So there's subtle differences that they already know and already kind of know how to handle that don't require a whole lot of input.
Got it.
So and I think now I wouldn't mind going backwards a little bit, maybe picking up more of the wholesaling. So that's something I've been considering.
Why are you considering that?
Just a little bit of market uncertainty. I don't want to be holding a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
I mean, I don't care to be holding a little bit. I can convert into rentals.
Yep.
I don't want to be holding a ton of stuff, So maybe changing that percentage from like maybe 15 and 85 to maybe 60-40 would be good.
Was that inspired from something or somebody you met here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Wimsley.
Yep.
Had a conversation with him, and it was a good one. It was brief, but it was a very good conversation. And what he was saying kind of got me thinking, like, okay, yeah, I definitely don't want to be bag holding, and who knows, it may go up, again. But things in our market are kind of slowing. They're tempering a little bit, more days on market.
Yeah.
And things are still selling. They have to be priced super aggressively, and so that's just kind of a small pivot that I'm looking to make maybe in the next 6 months.
Yeah. What else have you learned here that's been life-changing?
Well, just to develop a clear vision, and that's something I spent a lot of time on. I think I also learned that I'm not 100% sure. I came here thinking I want to, instead of doing 40 or 50 deals, whatever it was a year that I was doing at the time when I came here, I was thinking I want to do 200. I want to do 500 or just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the highest
And it sounds
amount.
like that's changed.
It has.
Why?
Yeah. I just started to scale, and I did not like having a whole lot of people working for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like the feeling of waking up and needing to jump on a Zoom and see like 5 faces looking at me and need to give direction to all that. I did not like it. My small operation, it does well, and it doesn't require that. I have freedom. I have the kind of lifestyle that I want. And I think that's more important to me, which is something that that vision really helped define.
Who else do you have working on your team?
It's pretty much just me and
the 2 foremen,
the construction guys.
Yep.
And then
your outsourced SEO on your website.
Outsourced SEO. Victoria, she's my agent, obviously, so she sells everything.
Okay, I didn't know that. It's cool.
Yeah, she's the dispo side, and then I've also got a partner. He does some of the cold calling. We split all the deals that come in through that, and so that's it.
Cool.
And the partner is a lifelong friend since I was a kid. So that's not really. That's more we hang out anyways.
Got it. Does he call himself, or does he manage?
He calls
callers?
himself. So
cool.
Yeah, and I've talked to him about long term. We might want to look at. Unless you want to be doing this all the time, like.
Or you split the profits with him?
Yeah, we split the profit. Yeah.
That's a very generous offer for a cold caller.
Right. Yeah. We've been friends a long time.
Yeah.
And he's done really well. And I, from my perspective, I get to have more deals with zero overhead. So I like that idea that I don't have to pay out anything additionally monthly. But
I got what you're saying for marketing expense.
I don't have to add anything.
Yeah.
Nothing's added.
Yeah.
So
where are you excited about going from here then? So you're doing about 50 deals now, right?
Yeah, probably more like 30 or 40, but yeah. So just continuing. I've got goals set with my rental properties where I want them to be. I'm about 70% of the way there. So I just want to complete that, acquire maybe 10 or 15 more. And then probably do more of the wholesaling side, about the same construction, maybe a little less construction, and not really do anything dramatically different. I mean, it's I've got a pretty good lifestyle. I've lost like 60 or 70 pounds. I play pickleball.
Oh, congrats.
4 days a week. I play pickleball for 2 hours a day.
60, 70 is no joke.
It is. It was a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and my wife, she's done a lot more than that.
What made you drive to do that?
It was just part of the vision I was talking about is an actual document. It's an actual sheet, and it addresses everything from, health to family to time, how your time is spent. And that was part of my vision was, getting my body fat closer to 15% body fat and, doing things like playing pickleball, lifting weights, mountain biking. And so I actually did that like in my, 4 days a week, 2 hours a day in the morning. I get up, I go play pickleball. Like I'm not retired, but that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's pretty close. So, that's what I love. I love that freedom. And
Are you good?
Am I good?
At pickleball?
It depends on who's asking.
Yeah.
It depends on who's asking. Do you play pickleball?
Yeah, I've played with this group here before.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not as good as Rob Needlinger or Mark De La Tour.
Okay. Do you play on the 2 courts up there though?
It's been a little while. I don't know what you mean by 2 courts.
You know how Rob and Mark play on the 2 courts and everybody else play on the...
Yeah, I play on the everyone else courts.
Okay.
Yeah, not at their level.
Then yes, I'm good.
Cool. You play with them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but if one of them were asking me, I would say I'm okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it depends on who's asking, but...
Fair enough.
Yeah. But
that's great, man. Congratulations on realizing what your vision is and obviously making most of it come true.
Right.
Is there anything you haven't yet?
Yeah. I think there's still a supercar on there.
Yep.
Yeah. There's still a...
Which Lamborghini?
I don't know. I just put supercar.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure.
Yep.
It's probably not going to be a Bugatti, right?
It'd be a hell of a first supercar.
Right. But
they call those hypercars.
Right.
There's another level.
Yeah. So I left it kind of open-ended there.
Yeah.
So there's a supercar on there. There's a beach house on there. That one hasn't been checked off yet. So I got a lake house. So I'm good with that.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Which lake?
Melton Hill. It's in right outside.
How far is that from you guys?
It's like 40 feet in the backyard.
How far is it from your main house in Knoxville?
Well, I live on Melton Hill, yeah. So it's.
Oh, that's your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you live there.
Right.
Full
yeah,
time.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's where we spend every day. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
Well, that's the dream right there.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds awesome.
It's a lot of fun. So certain things I've kind of got checked off. There's still some things left to go, and so we'll see how it pans out. But just having that clarity makes decisions a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything that requires a huge amount of time, I can pretty easily say I'm not interested.
Work-wise or
anything
what do you mean?
wise.
Okay. Well, we can make this podcast shorter.
Well, no, I mean, this is fine. No, but something that's going to require a massive, unless it's, coaching flag football or t-ball or my kids' baseball
that's
teams.
awesome.
Those are things that were in there. So whenever that come up, I was like, I'll do assistant coach.
Yep.
But that's been that's another thing that's kind of like, that's part of that lifestyle. If I'm grinding after hours and all this stuff, trying to build this new machine, then I wouldn't have time for that stuff.
Yeah, totally. So it sounds like you found a really nice balance there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people here aggressively scaling, maybe they're not as in tune with what their goals are and their ability to realize them like right now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's great to watch. It's impressive to watch. I love to take elements of what these guys are doing and see how I can incorporate it in my little bubble. But I love to watch these guys. I mean, they're some brawlers.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for sure. So it's impressive.
Last thing I wanted to ask, since you do flips primarily, have you ever done one on a double lot? Were you able to split it up?
I have. I don't have a huge amount of patience for
the splitting process. You mean?
City, county, and
splitting it off. Yeah.
Right. So I've not done that. I've done some fun stuff. I've talked to a few guys about it. We did a couple lake houses. One of them had diamond ore on it a few years ago. Yeah.
Whoa.
So
seriously?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's called kimberlite. It's very rare. Covers like 3% of the Earth's surface. 3% of that 3%.
What did it look like? It looked like a diamond?
No, it looks like it kind of looks like dirt, like rock if it were in a dirt form. It's different colors. The stuff that place had was kind of a gray in some areas.
So was that really valuable?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Where does the diamond part come in?
There were diamonds in it.
And how is that not valuable?
You just gotta find them. You gotta find them.
So did you sell it to somebody?
No, it was an HOA.
So you couldn't sell your diamond ore?
No. You couldn't mine it. I was wanting to keep it. It was a lake house. I was wanting to keep it and short-term rental it. Couldn't do that either in that HOA.
You can just pick it up and put it in your pocket?
Yeah, I've still got a lot of the ore.
Yeah.
Never found a diamond, but
okay.
we did have a geologist look at it, and he said there's definitely diamonds in this earth.
Like how deep are we talking?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Could have been on the surface.
He said there's definitely diamonds in there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
cool.
So that was a fun. So I've had a lot of fun stuff that we've done over the years with flips, but not so much splitting properties up.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Where do you find a geologist to come out and look at that?
It was a fluke. I had a friend of mine that was into like panning for gold, and he knew a guy that was in a local group that was very into geology. We talked to that guy. He already knew the location that my house was at.
Yeah.
He was already aware of that. Well, I took him some dirt.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell him anything about it. And he looked at it and he was like, "This came from Sharp's Chapel." And I was like, "How did you know that?" But he was already aware of that material being there, and he knew exactly where it was at. And so he was like, "Look, I want to have somebody come check this out since you own it. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he knew a guy that worked for diamond mines all over the world, and that guy took samples back with him, and so I've still got the email he sent. And yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And what's so interesting is the property was located in a big HOA development. There were, I think Pines Drive was one. Overlook Drive was one of and the street that those properties were on was Diamond Court was the name of it.
Wow.
There was nothing else like that up there
Yeah.
other than that particular street.
Yep.
And so it all kind of came together,
So to mine it, you mean you'd really have to go very deep, probably, right? It's not like you could just take your own shovel into it.
There's no way to know. I mean, you couldn't I don't know that it was financially feasible to mine, but you couldn't mine it anyway. I mean, it was in the HOA, and they had restrictions against short-term rentals. So anything that was commercial or industrial was not going to happen.
Gotcha.
I would have loved to have kept it though.
Yeah.
As a short-term. Imagine a short-term rental where you can keep any diamonds you find laying on the surface.
Yeah, the thing would sell out.
That'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff like that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for the time,
man.
man. I appreciate it.
It's awesome.
Hope you get a few more nuggets this meeting at Collective Genius, some good relationships.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciated getting to know you a little bit more,
Yeah.
and I'll help you pick out your supercar when you're ready, if that's
Awesome.
of interest to you.
Just call you. You've already done it, right?
Yeah, it was a while ago. I mean, I still have it, because to me, the car represents what it took for me to achieve the ability to earn it.
Right.
I've had it for 4 years. But
Okay. Awesome.
So I have a hobby of race car driving, and that's a whole nother
Really?
thing. Yeah, that I kind of dove into.
They're building a track not too far from where we're at. That they can, you can keep. They got like garages there. You can keep your race car there, and it's it sounds like it's going to be a really cool development.
Nice.
But do you have something like that, like a road course that you go drive
Yeah,
on?
so there's a club called Harris Hill Raceway in Austin. So it's only $300 a month to be a member. You can come and drive 5 days a week,
Wow.
anytime. It's like unheard of. Usually you pay track fees or session fees like that. So they do have some garages. They have a local series, which is how I got into it. It's the Miatas are not expensive race cars. I mean, they're cheap to run and they're cheap to fix. And there's about 30 people that compete. We do 2 races every month.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I bought a car last year that's like a same weight as the Miata, but like 3 times the power. And then it has paddle shift, which is what every modern like sports car racing would have.
Right.
The Miata is a stick shift. And so that's been it's like an entry-level GT car. That also has a spec series, but I get to travel a little bit more to compete because the series is not local. It's just kind of around the east coast of the U.S. So we're going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway next weekend.
Really?
I'm very much looking forward to that because I used to live there. So I've got friends in Indy.
That's right.
I'll actually have fans, that come out.
Wow.
But yeah, so this is my 3rd year racing, and I've very much enjoyed it.
Wow. Yeah, I've done one. We went to somewhere in Kentucky, to a Corvette where we just rented Corvettes and drove on a private track. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's me, my dad, and my brother.
Yes.
But I would love to give maybe a Lambo or Ferrari a shot on one of those road courses. That would be a lot of fun.
Man, I know you. I mean, what are you waiting for? What do you think you personally need to achieve in order to allow yourself to make that move?
I want to finish out this goal that I've got with
The rental properties, 15 more, right? Yeah, that's good.
15
good
more.
focus.
Yeah, just check that off the box and I'll figure it out. You know?
Dude, I love your focus on the goals.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
I love the justification. I'm spending the amount of time that I'm spending looking at them is worth so much that I should just go ahead.
Eventually that was what I had to do.
I love it.
I was looking closely because I knew my personal goal for the company, much like you're waiting for your goal, which is great. I had a mentor tell me, wait to hit the goal, because then the car will mean more, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. That's what you're doing. But when I was getting close to that goal, I would just look every day, and I was like, I got to stop looking. This is taking up way too much time. I would check that website like almost every hour, you know, during the workday. But you know, that's how you find a good deal.
It is.
You watch what's happening, what comes up, what pulls off, how fast does it pull off, what was the price at.
Right.
You know what the different options are and how that can affect the value.
Yeah.
So
it takes you got to learn it.
Yeah, and it was fun to learn. But eventually it was like, now I need to make the move so I can get my time back.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, you have to take me for a run sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely do that.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.